So I know I've been, talking about my journey, and I don't know if YouTube has me banned or whatever because of my last YouTube or whatever. I don't know. But I guess this is just a part of my story. I'm currently packing up my apartment that I've been in for 30 days, and yeah, I've been crying for the past since I got here, crying and praying and praying and crying. I was supposed to be here. Yeah, obviously I'm not. So I got that answer when I got here last night because I spent the night at my nana's house. So rent was due, the latest was the 6th. So I left on the 7th because it was like they're gonna add a fee. So I left on the 7th. Today is the 9th. So I left on the 7th, like early in the morning. I was going to go look for a job. I dropped my daughter off with my nana. And, I went to go and what did I go do? I went to go look for jobs. Like, I went to temp agencies because I was like, if I got to go back to warehouse, then that's just what I got to do. And ironically, all of them were like, they didn't have any jobs available. So, they were like, they didn't have any jobs available. And I'm like, okay, I went to like 5 different temp agencies and they all said the same thing. And I'm like, okay. So what I did was I just pretty much, told my grandmother, I'm like, they said they didn't have any jobs for me, and I went to go and look and all of the things or whatever. So then I spent the night there because it got so late, when I got back. And, I was just explaining to my grandmother, I'm like, I don't know, I thought that a miracle was going to happen, my bills were going to get paid. I swear I thought that God, told me to move and told me to quit my job. But, now I'm like, I feel like this is just like my coming back down to earth moment. And I have to record this to kind of give me motivation, to keep going this year because I really did like this apartment. I don't think that I mean, I'll talk to the leasing people tomorrow when I turn in the key or whatever, and, let them know. But, I don't know. I don't think this will say, like, I'll never be able to rent here again with them again. I just will make sure that the next time that I move, that I have something stable, like, really, and, like, not really living off of delusion, because I really feel like, if you want me to be honest, and I'm taking a break from moving because I just put a lot of bags in the car because, like, oh, I didn't even explain. Yeah, when I got here on the 7th, when I got here on the 8th, actually last night, when I got here on the 8th, there was a note on my door that said if I didn't pay by 3 days of receiving the letter, which was on the 7th, they put the note in my door, and it was like if I didn't pay by then I had to evacuate the premises, or they would, turn stuff in to, get me evicted. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm not like a squatter, and I'm like, I know, when my term is up and when it's time to go, and I learned my lesson. And, I'm recording this, pretty much for myself to say, hey, like, this is a part of my journey. And, like, to say, like, I'm not giving up on my dreams. Like, I'm going to sell butters. I'm going to sell, butters for beards. Because a lot of men I see, they're walking around with, like, real dry hair on their beards. My uncle was the number one that made me be like, okay, I'm really going to do this. And I want to see his progress because I just made him one for Christmas, and I haven't heard back. So I'm going to check in on that. And I'm really going to be serious. I'm going to study, and use this time to really study. I'm going to go back to a work-from-home job. I seen one, and it's seasonal, but they look like they're urgently hiring. So maybe when I get to my mom's house tonight, get my computer hooked up, I can go and apply for them and, continue on with the test that I had already started on, because they was like, they really wanted to hire, and they like they was paying good, and it was seasonal. So I'm like, well, maybe I could do that, and, some other work from home jobs. I'm pretty sure if I just look hard enough and keep applying long enough, then I'll get into another 9-to-5 job. I guess I was just like on this spiritual, I don't even know what it is, just kind of believing, where I kind of went too far into delusion, and I pretty much was like, okay, yeah, I'm moving because God told me to move. I'm moving because God told me to quit my job, and and I'm getting all these crazy things like, oh, go looking for a car. But then at the same time, I'm like, maybe I'm telling myself this stuff because obviously I moved in and I'm moving back out in 30 days. This is a lot of work that is not necessary. And I'm like, when it comes time to when I have stability, my debt is paid, and then I'll feel like I can move. But as a single mom, starting over from heartbreak, and it's been a whole year since I left my child's father, but this really has like brought me back down to earth. I can really say that. Like, I can really say like this has brought me back down to earth, because a lot of us are like, oh, you manifest this, you manifest that, and and you think that you're doing the work. Like, I really, I post on YouTube, I was posting on Instagram, but if you're not doing enough, you're not consistent with enough, you got to keep pushing. Even when, you're not getting the views, you're not getting the likes, even if it's just been a month or 2 months or 3 months, you still have to keep doing it if that's what you really want to do, and I feel like I kind of got like gave up a little, and I was like, you know what, God's just gonna do something to just walk me into a miracle. And I kind of lost my way, and I feel like this was like a really humbling moment for me to find my way again and be like, you know what, these are the things that I want to do. So the things that I want to do is what I'm gonna pursue, and I know I have a more clear vision on what I actually want to pursue, to be honest. And I can go ahead and say it since nobody's watching this video, but I'm writing a book, and I've been a writer for so long. I'm doing YouTube just because this is where I can actually get my real feelings off, and I can be real with myself. I write my feelings down as well, but this is just saying like, hopefully, like kind of doing this to help my daughter as well, like, because I have a tendency that my nana tells me stuff, but then I'm like, well, I'm trying to listen to what God is telling me as well. So not to say that God didn't tell me, but he could have told me this to, prove a lesson to me, to say, hey, if I don't give you what you want, are you still going to believe in me? Hey, if I tell you to move and then you end up having to move back, are you going to hate me? Like, how hard do you really rock with me? You know what I'm saying? And to pretty much say, like, come down to earth, live on earth, and let me handle the spiritual things. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to prosper, it's going to come unexpectedly. It's not going to come from you thinking this. It's going to come from you doing your hard work, and then I work on the other hand. Not you trying to be up here with me watching yourself from the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like, be down there and let me be up here. Let me be God. So, and that's the thing. I'm like, I just was constantly seeing angel numbers. Like, you see 10, 10, 12, 12, 11, 11, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1. And you're like, okay, well, things are happening, like, okay, it's really about to happen right now. It's about to happen. A miracle's happening right now. And not to say that, that things aren't happening, but, it could be a twist and a turn for it to be whatever. But I could just honestly say, like, I'm really, really grateful that I have a mom that I can go back home and be like, Mom, I fucked up. Mom, something not right in my head, obviously. Mom, I fucked up. Thank you for taking me back in. And especially when I'm like, my mom has done so much for me that I was like, I really wanted to get out here and make some money to repay her, because when I left my child's father, I was broken and heartbroken, and I'm single mom, so I'm like, I got to pick myself up, because like, I've been here for a year, and I've been living off y'all, and I couldn't really pay y'all like I want to, and I feel like a loser. So as the oldest sibling, as the oldest daughter, first granddaughter, all these things, I'm like, I have to go out here and I have to make some real money so that I can help us. And maybe God is leading me to go out of my land to do these things. And I mean, I feel like I have been caught up in the social media delusion, especially when you get on social media. And I'm a YouTube head. Like, I like YouTube, but I kind of found like a niche where, you know, the algorithm shows me videos that's like, hey, your breakthrough is here, or miracles are coming in, or you're gonna get unexpected money, or, you know what I'm saying, like just constantly seeing things like that. Not to say that it's not right, but it could have just not been my time, not my season. It could have just been where it didn't really pertain to me. And, you know, God had to knock me down a few pegs to be like, listen, you up here and I need you to be down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you all up in the business and you thinking that these people is telling you something. You know, like I was even doing fast. Like I even stopped eating meat. You know, all these things, which honestly, I'm going back to eating chicken. Okay, period. I'm going back to eating chicken. It is what it is. I like chicken wings, and I've seen people live their life like smoke weed, this, that, and the third. And, you know, it's like they, not to say that they live a life better than mine, but my Nana, for instance, she smokes weed. And obviously everything that she said has been right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, live life, enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try and control everything. You have to work. You know what I'm saying? And it really has changed my mindset around a lot of things, because I'm like, well, I do have to work. That is true. And, you know, I never thought that I could. Before my daughter was born, I used to think, oh, I can do things by myself, because I lived by myself before. I had 2 apartments, you know, by myself. But then after having a child, I'm like, I can't do it by myself. Like, I literally had like a mental breakdown at least once a week, because I'm like, you know, like, she's crying and I think she probably tired of me, you know what I'm saying? And she want a snack, or, you know, and I'm giving her snacks and I'm feeding her, you know, and it's all different types of things. But I'm like, you know, I'm not really, you know, not really like, I ain't gonna say I'm not fit to be a mom, but, you know, sometimes failures like this kind of have you in your head thinking like, damn, was I meant to, you know, like, am I fucking stupid or something? For real, like, really, like, I have been celibate for over a year. I haven't really been dating. You know, I just been like, hey, when it happens, it happens. I tried a dating site, but it just didn't feel right to me. You know, like, dating, everything's just so different now, and I'm like, I don't know about love anymore. I don't know, because I'm like, you know, I'm still trying to recover from a whole ass heartbreak where I thought this was going to be my forever family. And, you know, I'm literally, you know, still trying to recover from that. So, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. Like, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, you're not going to avoid heartbreak. You're not going to avoid, you know, financial difficulties. You're not going to avoid these things. You have to go through them, get through them, learn the lesson. It just gives you wisdom, you know. So, and, you know, at first I was like, I'm going to be so shameful just going back to my parents' house and everybody knowing like I lived for 30 days and coming back. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, I got out there. I tried to see if it was a new direction out there for me. Obviously, that was not where I was supposed to go, or, you know, I went and I learned the lesson that I was supposed to learn, and now I'm back here. So I can say I feel shameful, but at the same time, just the person that I am, I'm gonna do everything and hold my head up, you know, because I still believe that good things are on the way. It's just, I just have to live my life. And, you know, you can't expect God to always be like, hey, go left, go right. He like, listen, I want you to do the things that you want to do. Go to places that you feel like going. Because when I say, like, I was out here like a lost fish, I'm like, I went to all the temp agencies, you know, yesterday and the day before, and they were pretty much telling me like they don't have no jobs. And I'm like, okay, God, if it's for me, bless. If it's not for me, block it. And, you know, I'm like, well, I don't really want to go back to warehouse work. So I'm most likely going to go and find a work from home opportunity and just do that. Because it's like, I stepped out here thinking, hey, you know, I'm cutting off things that don't serve me, and I'm going, you know, back into, I'm going into a field. I'm going to do things that does serve me, you know. And now I'm like, you know, I just feel so differently about, you know, spirituality and the spiritual community. And, you know, I'm just tired, honestly. But I'm still grateful, because I'm like, my mom let me come back. I have a bed to sleep in. I just You know, God has a different plan for me, and it is what it is. I wasn't supposed to live here, I guess, but I did enjoy, you know, not having to rush to the bathroom, you know, and share the bathroom with other people and wait on other people to take a bath. And I did enjoy not having to work for 30 days because, Jesus, when I get off work, I remember I was just so freaking drained. But I'm like, I'm going to have to push through regardless. And, you know, and that's just what I'm going to have to do, is just push through regardless and do what I have to do, you know. And I'm losing my voice. I'm like, oh God, I've been talking about 15 minutes, but I'm going to go and drink some water and get the rest of this stuff moved into my little Kia and take my first load onto my mom's. It's about 11 in the morning. It's about 11. Ooh, I turned the sun down, the brightness down. Yeah, it's about 11 in the morning. Ooh, I turned it up too much. I don't know how to fix that. That's weird. But yeah, I'm gonna go and get this first load on down there, and then go and give my daughter her clothes or whatever, and get my Nana's car and load that up. And maybe I'll get all this stuff, because I didn't have a couch in here. I didn't have a bed frame or anything. But maybe I can get all this stuff moved right on back to my mama's house today. And yeah, so I don't really have like a message other than just live your life, take the good with the bad, the happy with the sad. That's it.